My name is Jaden. It's almost 5 degrees outside. I'm freezing, but that doesn't matter. I'm at the 2018 Winter Classic, and you're watching Post to Post.
Hello and welcome to Post, the channel where we discuss all things hockey and all teams. Thank you guys very much for coming back and clicking on another video. I really appreciate that. And this time we're going to talk about what's one thing I would change about each NHL team. This was suggested to me by someone in the comments, and really this is what this channel is all about. You guys make suggestions in the comments all the time. It's been like that from day one, and I've picked the best ones that I thought would make a good video, and I've filmed a video, and I think that's what's really grown this channel quite a bit, is the interaction and really taking your guys' ideas, which are good almost all of the time, and making a video out of it. And this is what this is. So I'm going to go through each team, some of the stuff that I'm going to choose. So, okay, let me back up a bit. I'm going to make a decision about every single team that I want something to change about that team. And some of that stuff is going to be important stuff, like maybe a certain player or the cap, and some of it's going to be completely silly and ridiculous, like a jersey or a logo or an arena or something like that. Some teams I had a really hard time actually picking something that I would change, but it's a fun process, so I'm going to struggle along through it. I made this list about a week ago, and I haven't looked at it in a little bit, so if I'm all over the place a little bit, just be patient with me, please. We're going to start with Carolina. So one thing I would change about Carolina, if I was in charge of the whole NHL and all the teams and everything, I would get Carolina to spend to the cap for once. I'd really like to see Carolina get those deep pockets, and maybe they will with the new owner, and really spend to the cap. They are, I think they're $17 million under the ceiling of the cap. So if they use that $17 million, maybe it's even more, maybe it's like 20. I can't remember, but it's a lot. So I would be curious to see what Carolina could do if they really brought in a few superstars. It'd be interesting. Next, we'll do Columbus. This is a team I had a hard time with because I love the structure of the team. I love the jersey. I love the logo. I wasn't sure what to do here. So I made a silly decision. I love the cannon. Who doesn't love the cannon, right? Cannons in one of the corners. Why not put in 3 more cannons? A cannon in each corner. Why not, right? So that's what I would do if I could change one thing about Columbus. Third is New Jersey. I'd get some a little more back-end help on the defensive line there, and I'd like to see maybe one more offensive defenseman to really help Butcher and a few other players on that team. It'd be pretty cool to see a player like Letang in his prime or Hedman or someone on New Jersey on the back end. I think that would be cool. The New York Islanders, I would sign John Tavares ASAP. That's it. The New York Rangers, sorry Rangers fans, listen. I used to not be a big fan of the Rangers. I'm still not a massive fan of the Rangers, but New York City is my favorite city in the world, and I have actually really come to like the team much, much more than I did recently. I used to hate their jerseys. I kind of like their jerseys now. It's just, that's the thing. My opinions kind of change throughout time a little bit. And I can see myself liking the Rangers more each year. However, I'm just not a fan of that logo. Just like the Rangers sideways. I know it's classic. I know it represents history. But I really like that secondary logo that they used in the 2000s there for a bit, or the late 90s. I love that thing with the Statue of Liberty head. That was tremendous. Philadelphia. I would get a true, consistent number 1 goalie. Goaltending issues have been in Philadelphia's problem for the past, what seems to be 25 years. It's madness. They need to either do it for the draft in 5 years' time, to have that solidified number 1 goalie for the next 10 years or 15 years or whatever. But it's one thing that Philadelphia has always lacked, is consistent, solid, long-term goaltending. And I hope they figure that out soon. Pittsburgh, I would trade Letang. He is injury-prone. I don't like his cap hit. Tremendous player, amazing in the locker room, but he's too injury-prone. I wouldn't want that on my team, so I would trade him. Washington, get a new logo. I don't like Washington's logo at all. Bring back the old one. Get rid of the new one. That's what I would do. Boston. I'm going to get a lot of heat for this one. I would change the colors, and I would change the logo. I've never been a fan of gold and black together. I don't think it is appealing in any way, and that's totally fine. I'm not saying I'm right. This is a subjective thing. I'm just not a huge fan of their logo and their colors, but I understand there's millions of people who disagree with me, and that's totally fine. But that's what I would do. Buffalo, I would get a new logo, and I would get Eichel a little more help, and I'd revamp the decor. I guess that's kind of 3, but mainly their logo. Not a huge fan of their new logo, which is a throwback to their old logo. Guys, I'm going to be honest, I really like the buffalo, or the banana slug that they used a couple of years ago. More than a couple of years ago. I guess it was 10 or 15 years ago now, but I really like that. Detroit, I would buy with Zetterberg. He's going to be 41, making $6 million. There's cap issues in Detroit in general. I don't like Zetterberg's contract. It goes way too long. I would buy him out. That's a crazy thing to say because I love Zetterberg. I love his play. I have a t-shirt with Zetterberg over there on it. But I just don't like that contract. Florida, I would fire Dave Talon. I would fire Matthew Caldwell and anyone else obsessed with analytics. You got rid of Gerard Gallant, and look at him now. Look at him now. When he was with you, Florida, he took you to the top of the Atlantic Division, and I think almost top of the East. I think they were second in the East that year, too. Maybe first, I can't remember. But you fired him. You let him go, and it was based on analytics because he didn't want to play your game. Well, look at Gerard Gallant now. He's leading the Las Vegas Golden Knights, top of the West, and they're killing it. Montreal, fire Marc Bergevin. Adios. Ottawa, force Melnyk to sell the team. Bye, Melnyk. Adios. Tampa Bay, change the blue. Sorry, I can't read my own writing here. Change the blue that they use. It's a really similar shade of blue, if not identical to the same blue that Toronto uses. So I'd like to see Tampa just get either like a darker shade of blue or a lighter shade of blue just to differentiate from Toronto a little bit. Just at first glance, I have a hard time differentiating those two jerseys from one another, especially when they play each other. I know one's wearing white and one's wearing dark, but you get my point here. Toronto, I would trade Marleau to open up cap. I don't think Marleau's fitting in with Toronto at all. I would trade him, buy him out, whatever you need to do. He's eating up some cap, so adios. And it's hard for me to say because he's one of my favorite players. Chicago, I would go back to the black jerseys. I do prefer the black jerseys over the red jerseys, I will admit. Colorado, I would use last year's third jersey. It's my favorite jersey of all time. You guys know what I'm talking about. I would use that as the main jersey. Dallas, I would trade Spezza and dump that contract. Minnesota, I would recap some picks. They're missing 2 important picks next year, so I would try to, make some trades of some kind to get those picks back. I think that's going to hurt them, actually. Nashville, I would go back to last year's jersey designs. Not a big fan of the new Adidas Nashville jerseys. Really like for the previous years. That's definitely what I would do. St. Louis, I would 100% adopt that Winter Classic jersey from a few years ago, the lighter blue and the lighter yellow. That thing was a thing of beauty. I wish they would make that their main jersey. Winnipeg, I would replace Manson. He's just too inconsistent. He looks brilliant at times, but just in general, he's just too inconsistent. Anaheim, I'd go back to the original logo, and I know that's not even legally possible because Disney owns that Mighty Ducks logo, and they won't allow the Anaheim Ducks to use it because the contract is over or whatever. I don't care. I would sue them or something. I don't know. I want that logo back, and I think there's a ton of people who agree with me on this one. That logo was tremendous. It needs to come back. Arizona, I would spend at the cap for once, and I would fix the arena issues. I guess that's 2, but Arizona needs to spend at the cap. They need to get competitive. I understand that it's not a very profitable team right now, but they need to spend at the cap. You need to spend at the cap. You need to get successful. With success comes fans. Look at Vegas. Where am I? Calgary, I would get that arena issue sorted out. There's been rumors that they're waiting for the Olympic bid to go through, so if Calgary gets the Olympics, then they'll basically automatically get an arena built, so they won't have to worry about all this stuff, but get it done. Arena needs to be built. Those fans deserve to have hockey in Calgary for the next 25 to 30 years, at least. Edmonton, use last year's third jerseys as their main. So they had the orange one, and they have the orange one now, but they changed it a little bit. They added new lines and stuff. I don't like that. I like the third jerseys from last year. They were perfect. This one right here. I like that. Los Angeles, I would sign Drew Doughty. I know he kind of maybe wants to leave, but I'd sign him. San Jose, I would sign Aaron Dell ASAP. He's a UFA after this year, and he's actually older than Jones, and he is the backup. He's probably good enough right now to be a starter. It depends on what he wants. If he wants to leave San Jose and be a starter somewhere else, that's what he's going to have to do, because he's not going to be a starter in San Jose because Jones is killing it. They locked him in. That's the guy. So, but I would try and convince Aaron Dell to be the backup because I like him. He's tremendous. I'd get it done. Vancouver, I would change the logo back to the stick. So there's the classic stick one. Or I would go back to the 90s black and gold or black and yellow or whatever Canucks logo with the skate and the lines. And yeah, I know I'm not a big fan of black and gold together, but I loved what they had going on there. So much classic vibes in the early 90s with Pavel Bure and McLean, and just, I loved it. And Las Vegas, or just Vegas. There's not really anything that I would change about Vegas. I mean, really, what would you change? You improve their power play and their penalty kill percentages and success, I guess, but it's not really it's not hurting them a whole lot. So I've come up with an idea. One thing I would change about Las Vegas is there's a guy over on Post to Post. His name's Neil. You guys should hire him. He would love to work for you. So that's what I would change about Vegas, is hiring myself from Post to Post to work for you or Vegas, whatever. You guys know what I mean. All right, I've gone through all the teams. Tell me down below in the comments. Go through every single team. What would you change about every team? List all the teams and give me your reasons. I'd like everybody to do this if they have time. I know it's a time-consuming process, but if you have time and you want to have some fun, definitely leave your comment down below with all your teams and all your reasons, and go check out other people's reasons too, and comment back and say, hey, yeah, I would do the same thing with this team, or nah, I kind of disagree, I like this jersey better, or something like that. Interact with the community, have some fun, leave a comment. Thanks guys for watching, I appreciate it. Like this video if you liked it. Thanks for the suggestion, whoever you are. I forget your name, I'm sorry. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. Adios.